All right, so good morning, everybody. Let's continue our session, day 4 on Big Data Hadoop. Today, we'll talk about Hadoop installation, right? I'll give you the minimum requirements which I feel you should have in order to install Hadoop in your system. So, to complete our course, we need to install Hadoop because we have to do a lot of practicals and all, right? So, I would recommend you to have a system of maybe i3 is okay, and RAM, I would say let's have 8 GB of RAM, okay, and 2 cores are also fine. This is the minimum requirement I basically prefer you to have. Okay. Now, if you have i5, i7, well and good. If you have 8 GB, 12 GB, 16 GB, well and good. If you have 4 cores, 8 cores, well and good. Right. So this is the minimum system requirement I would basically say, because when we install Hadoop in our machine, it should work, right? So that's the reason I want you to have at least 8 GB. And let me tell you how exactly we are going to, work on this entire course. So most of us have Windows machine, right? So we all have Windows machine. Okay. Now in Windows, you can directly install Hadoop. Okay. There are options where you can install Hadoop directly on Windows, but I will not recommend it. The reason is, if you install Hadoop in Windows, then you will not be able to move out of Windows anytime, because everything you are doing it in Windows. And when you go to the company in the real time, when you start working, you will see people are working on Linux. People are working, with a lot of commands, right? You should not ask me, hey, what is the meaning of vim? Hey, what does sudo does? Hey, what is chmod? Right? Because in Windows, you'll never ever see those kind of commands anytime. And when you work on the real-time projects, you will see that your code has to be deployed on a Linux box, and you have to log into your Linux box and perform various operations, right? And that is the reason we really don't want to install Windows Hadoop in Windows. Okay, so what we will do in this Windows, we will install a software called VMware Workstation. Okay, we will install a software called VMware Workstation, which will help us to install Ubuntu operating system. Okay, so you can use VMware, you can use VirtualBox, and so on. I will go with VMware. Okay, and here what we will do is we will install Ubuntu. So it is something like, in your Windows operating system, I will install another operating system by the help of VMware. Or by the help of VMware Workstation. All right. Now, once you have Ubuntu inside this, now we will go inside Ubuntu and we will start installing Hadoop in it. Okay, so Hadoop will be installed here. Okay, so you have Windows. This is your Windows. This is your Ubuntu, and inside your Ubuntu, we are going to install Hadoop, Java, and everything whatever we need. So every time when we want to do some operation, anytime when we want to learn Hadoop, we will switch on our Windows system, right? And then we will activate our VMware. Inside VMware, we will have our Ubuntu up and running, and in that Ubuntu, we can start our Hadoop services and get started with the practice. So this is what I wanted to tell you today, right? Okay. Now, Now, what if you have a plan of buying a new laptop? For example, you say, hey, my laptop is not good enough and I really want to purchase a new laptop, right? If you are purchasing a new laptop, I will always recommend that you take the latest configuration available in the market. Okay, so my new laptop is coming. It's MacBook. I'm not saying everybody to buy a MacBook, but what I'm trying to tell you is my new laptop, which I'm going to bring, is i9. Okay, with 64 GB of RAM. Okay, and with 2 terabytes of SSD and 8 cores. Okay, Now you may say, hey, do I really need to spend a lot of money and do I really need to buy a MacBook? Not really required. Why am I buying it? Because I want to use it for at least next 10 years as much as possible. When you are buying a new laptop for yourself, I would always suggest you to take the recent laptop as much as possible. If not i9, that's okay. You go with i7, right? You can also go with i5, no problem at all. You can even buy this configuration. But what I'm trying to tell you is, today when you buy a laptop, it should not happen that some few things are not running after 2 years, right? Why? Because there was an upgrade in the system. Right? Many technologies are coming day by day. Today, the way we are learning Hadoop, I don't know what will happen after 5 years. I don't know if the way we are learning Hadoop today will be same as in the next 5 years. No clue at all, right? So if you are buying a laptop, I would say stick with at least i7. Okay, stick with at least i7, and let's have 8 GB right now. That's absolutely fine. But buy a laptop which can be upgradable to 16 GB at least. Okay, which can be upgradable to 16 GB, and hard disk, like anything is okay. 500 GB hard disk or 1 TB hard disk is also fine. No problem at all with the hard disk, right? And then cores, like 4 cores are okay, 2 cores are also okay. But what I would say is minimum you try to stick with this configuration. Okay, so this is the configuration I want you to check if you want to buy a laptop. Okay, which model laptop I should buy, which company laptop I should buy, that depends. Go to Amazon and all, you will see there is a lot of options. Go through the reviews, you can buy anything whatever you feel. Okay, because at the end of the day, they are all assembled, right? For example, Dell, they don't create hard disk for you. They don't manufacture, RAM, or they don't manufacture cores, processor and cores, right? They're all assembled from various third parties. So anything is okay, but I want you to choose this kind of laptop if you have any intention to buy a new one. Okay, but if you have a laptop with this configuration, then also it is okay. Okay, now you may also say, hey, I have a problem, and my laptop is little old. Okay, say I have a i3 laptop, and it has 4 GB of RAM. Okay, and it is just dual core or 2 cores. Okay, and it has 500 GB of hard disk. This is the laptop I have. Can I still practice Hadoop or not? Okay, so because it depends, right? Maybe you don't want to spend the money, because buying a laptop is another, at least I think 70 to 80,000. If you have this laptop, then also you can still work with Hadoop. Okay, you can still work with Hadoop, but what I will recommend is, in this case, don't use this approach. What approach? Installing VMware. Because when you install VMware, and inside that if you install Ubuntu, then what is happening, your Windows is running, on top of Windows Ubuntu is running. That means two operating systems are running back to back. It will consume all your RAM, and your RAM may not be sufficient to work properly. In that case, what you need to do is create a system dual boot system, which means when you log into this, when you start this machine, it asks you, right, if you want to boot with Windows or if you want to boot with Ubuntu. Now, if you say I want to boot this system with Ubuntu, then Ubuntu will be using this whole 4 GB memory, right? And then you really don't have a problem of little memory is taken by Windows and little memory is taken by Ubuntu. Make a dual boot system, right? And if you want to throw away your Windows, that's also absolutely fine. Okay, so few people may say, hey, I have a machine, but I have only Ubuntu in it. You can prefer this option. You can directly install Hadoop here. Okay, but most of the time we will be doing this because I use Windows a lot, right? And I use Ubuntu, so I would basically prefer using this approach to install your Hadoop in your machine, right? But this is also an option if you have less configuration laptop and you really don't want to buy or upgrade. But I will always suggest you, if possible, try to upgrade this, because tomorrow when we start working with Cloudera, we will also see how to work with the Cloudera VMware. Okay, and Cloudera VMware will not even start at this configuration. That's the problem. Okay, if you just have 8 GB of RAM, then Cloudera virtual machine will not start. Okay, I have a hack for this. What I'll do is I'll give you an old version of Cloudera, which is at least 4 or 5 years old. Okay, I'll give you a little old version of Cloudera so that you can at least practice them. Okay, so that's what I am going to do. So I would say, if possible, try to have 12 to 16 GB of RAM, right? So that we can use the recent version of Cloudera. If not possible, this is also okay. So that we can at least use old version of Cloudera. If this is not possible, then you prefer this. But in this case, you will not be able to, practice your Cloudera thing. All you can do is watch my video and then say, okay, maybe it will work for me as well. That is what you can conclude for yourself. Okay, so this is what is very, very important, and I know most of the people have doubts regarding this, like which laptop should I buy, what is the minimum configuration I must have to run to practice Hadoop in my machine, right? So if you have this dual boot, okay, and if you have this, it's absolutely great. So today we will talk about Hadoop, right? We will talk about installation of Hadoop. Now what I'll do next is, okay, so now what I'll do next is, now let me tell you what are the Hadoop versions we are going to work on. Okay, what are the minimum prerequisites you need to have. So we will pick up any Hadoop version which is of 3.x. Okay, I am not going to install Hadoop 1.2.1 anymore now, right? Those days are gone. So we will directly work on Hadoop 3. Why not Hadoop 2? Because that will not make any difference as a programmer. Okay, so that's the reason. Let us go with Hadoop 3.x. But let me tell you, industry still uses Hadoop 2.x. Okay, this is what company is using right now. Company is still using Hadoop 2.x. But having said that, there is not much difference in Hadoop 2 and Hadoop 3 installations as well as usage. There are changes, of course, right? And those changes are mostly into performance, the optimization and all. Okay, so we will talk about Hadoop 3 later. Okay, but yeah, but it's okay to have Hadoop 3.x in our machine, and we will do all our practical with respect to Hadoop 3.x. Same thing is applicable to Hadoop 2.x as well, from programming point of view. For example, if you have Java 1.6 or if you have Java, JDK 15 or JDK 6, right? The way you write hello world program will remain same, is not it? There are few concepts which are introduced in Java 15 and were not present in Java 8, right? So those new things we will learn, but most of the things would remain same. Okay. All right. So we are going to use Hadoop 3.x. Okay, and we will use Java 1.8. Okay, now you may say, hey, Java 15 is already out. Why are we still learning Java 8? Okay, because Java 15 is out, but they are not well tested with respect to Hadoop. Is not it? So it is possible that if you choose Java 15, you may face difficulties while installation. You may face difficulties while installing other component, and I have not tested them, right? Because the documentation says this is comfortable, this is compatible with Java 1.8. Okay, now maybe in 2025 or maybe 2030, okay, that time maybe this Hadoop may become compatible with Java 15, and that time Java version might be 22 or 25, something like that. Okay, now that is what we have, right? So we should not go and pick up the latest version as long as the document says we have a support for it. Because I have tried, installing couple of times and there was a failure because of this and that. The compatibility issue would be there. So we will pick up the compatible versions so that we can do it very, very cleanly and smoothly. Okay, so now, as I said, we will use VMware Workstation. Okay, so we will use VMware Workstation. Inside that, we will install Ubuntu latest version. Okay, now once Ubuntu is installed, we will log into Ubuntu and then we will install Java 8. Okay, and then we will start installing Hadoop 3.x. Okay, now once everything is done, once our Hadoop is installed successfully, then you will see when you start your Hadoop services, then you will be able to see on the console name node, secondary name node. Okay, not job tracker and task tracker anymore here, right? Resource manager, the one which we discussed yesterday, node manager, data node. So these are all the services which you will see up and running once your Hadoop 3.x is successfully installed. And if this is up and running, then you will be able to understand that okay, my Hadoop is successfully installed and I can go ahead and do some operations in it. Okay, so now let us directly move to the screen now. Okay, so yeah, now let me share my screen, guys. Okay, now I want you to follow these steps. Okay, so I've already done those setups for you, right? I have already done those setups for you because setup takes a lot of time. I'll go to OnlineLearningCenter.in. Okay, and everybody should do the same. We'll go to Online Learning Center and grab this free course, whatever is available right now. Okay, join 60 hours of free course and grab it. Okay, so I'll say continue the course, right? And if you go to this Hadoop free basics, here if you see, if I go a little down, then you will see chapter number 6 and chapter number 7. Okay, chapter number 6 talks about how to install Ubuntu 19.10 in VMware 15. Okay, so this is what we have right now, and how to install Hadoop 3 in Ubuntu 19. So these are the videos of hardly 25 to 26 minutes possibly. Okay, so just go through these videos. This video will help you to complete the setup. Okay, this video will help you to complete the setup, and once your setup is ready, you will have your system configured with Hadoop properly. Okay, now I will assume that you'll go through this video, and if you see this, there is a download button. Okay, click on this download button, and all the script file, whatever you need, would be available here. Okay, now after 2 months, after 3 months, anytime, okay, when we have a new version, I'll again create a video and I'll again upload this section, okay, this lecture with a recent version of Hadoop. So right now we will go ahead with this. Okay, so yeah, so click on this and you will see the lectures would be downloaded. See here. Okay, so let me just click on this video, install Ubuntu 19.10. right? So this is what we have: VMware 15, Ubuntu 19, Java 8, Eclipse, IntelliJ, everything I've taught here. So all you need to do is follow this instruction as it is and just get your system ready. Okay, so just watch this video and the notes are available here. You can see the step-by-step process, and I've also explained all of them in the video itself. And you go to next whenever you want. Next. Okay, and here if you see, if there are certain steps, right, like see, these are all commands, and I really don't want you to type this command on your own, and that's the reason we have a download option here. Okay, so we have a download option here. Just click on this download and you will get this entire script in your script file. So you can just use this script file and like get your work done. Okay, so make sure that you follow this instruction very carefully. And one more thing I want to tell you. So when I created this video to install Java, see, for me what came was Java 8U241. Okay, this is what I downloaded when I started working on it. But when you install Java from official website, you may get some other version, 8U, maybe you will get 905, maybe you'll get 910, whatever it is. So I would recommend you guys that please be very cautious while copying this path. Okay, you cannot make mistakes in copying this path, otherwise your configuration will be wrong, right? So make sure that you take care of this minor things. 1.8.0 underscore 241 is what I have written, because when I installed Java I had that version, right? When you install Java, then the version may change to 248, 252, 275, whatever it is, right? So you have to take care of that part. Okay, otherwise just follow this document 1 and 2 and your installation will be all good. One more thing I would like to add here. So if you see this file, installing Ubuntu 19, right? So go to the lecture description. Okay, and I have also given access to my software, whatever I have used, because sometimes what happens, there is a problem installing a Java of appropriate version. Few things may not work sometimes, right? So in order to avoid that problem, what I've given you is I've given you a link here, okay, of all the software whatever I have used, whatever I have downloaded. Tomorrow when I create a fresh video, I will upgrade this version, right? And you'll get the notes here itself. And that is the reason all our notes are not downloadable, because I don't want you to refer to the old material anytime, right? Anytime you need anything, come back to my website and you will find them updated, right? So you can just use this to get the things downloaded, but it will be really little slow because it is all coming from my Dropbox, and that may be a little slow. So you have to bear with that. Okay, so here you can see I have included the Hadoop 3.2.1 version. This is not the very latest, right? But that's all good. It's all good to work with, right? So tomorrow when I create a video on Hadoop recent version, then I'll upgrade it. But it's okay, you can still experiment it with the recent version of Hadoop. Okay, now having said that, let me also show you one important thing, that all the product from Apache are kept together so that you don't have to really search it in 200 different places. So you just say Apache dist. You just say Apache dist. It takes you to this place. Click on this. Okay, this is the place where you will find all the Apache products. All the Apache products. So just say Control F and say Hadoop. Right? I'm here. Click on this. Now you can go to let's go to common. Okay, and from here if you see Hadoop 3.2.1, Hadoop 3.1.4, Hadoop 3.3.0, these are the three versions available for Hadoop 3. Okay, and let me go back. What we have installed is 3.2.1. so this is what we have installed. Okay, so it is absolutely okay to follow the document and video which I'm giving you and still installing 3.3.0. The concept will be same. Only the change what you will see is the version number 3.3.0. So in all this document, whatever I have given, right, wherever you see 3.2.1, you just have to replace them with 3.3.0. Okay, so it will take some time for me to publish a new video on the very new version, but that's absolutely okay, right? So click on this and you will see, click on this and you'll see a lot of options here. Which one to download? You will get confused, right? So let's see that also. Change logs are definitely not what we are looking for. Okay, and then Hadoop 3.3.0 𝗚𝗚𝗏64, not definitely what we are looking for. Okay, ignore all of them. Okay, so ignore all of them. Again, RAT version, no. Site, no. Okay, source, no. Okay, now whatever is left is, now whatever we are left with is these three. Okay, now again check for the size. This is 819 possibly bytes. Okay, this is 168 possibly bytes. Now this is what I see is 478 MB, right? And this is what you need to download. Okay, so this is what you need to download and install on your machine, right? So this is the actual Hadoop which you are going to download. And if you want to see the source code, then you can download the source code here. This one. This is a source file of Hadoop 3.3.0, but we are supposed to download 3.3.0 tar.gz, right? So that's how you can install this Hadoop on your system, either 3.2.1 or 3.1.4 or 3.3.0. Our tutorial is with respect to 3.2.1. So you can follow anything, okay? That's absolutely okay, not a problem. I would recommend, let us follow the same video, but install 3.3.0. Let us do that, okay? Everybody, let us do that. We will follow the video and we will install 3.3.0. We'll go with the recent version. All right. Now let's move on. So the next thing is, I want to show you how does it look like once your installation is done. Okay, so let me say, yeah, this is what I was talking about, VMware Workstation. Okay, so once you install VMware Workstation and once you install your Hadoop inside it, when you try to boot, it will show you like this, Ubuntu 19. This is what name I have given when I installed Hadoop on my machine, and I'll just say power on my VM. So if you see memory, what I have given is 8 GB, which means when this Ubuntu runs, it is going to use 8 GB from my 16 GB RAM, right? And processors, I have 8 cores. So I said, okay, let me give entire 4 cores to this Ubuntu 19, and I'll say just power on this virtual machine. Okay. Now, if you see, I have SD user and Suraj, so I'll log into SD user. What is this SD user? You will see in the video itself. My password is Hadoop. And one most important thing is, I have already taught how to take the backup of this virtual machine once you create them. Okay. And I will always recommend you guys that you don't ignore that step. Okay. Because I've seen many times people come back to me saying that, Suraj, I have lost my virtual machine. Right, and again, it is a big pain to set it up again. So I would not recommend you to take that pain. So once you are done with installation of Hadoop, please make sure that you are taking the backup of it and storing it in the safe place. All right. So this is your Ubuntu, guys, right? So this is your Ubuntu which we have installed, and inside this I have already installed Hadoop, right? So now let's go back to terminal. So I'll just go back to terminal. So I'll say, okay, so what I pressed is, I pressed Alt, Control and T, and I got back this terminal. This is one way of getting the terminal. Or else what else you can do is, you can also right click on any folder, that's absolutely fine, and just say open in terminal. That will also give me a terminal, right? At the end of the day, I need a terminal, right? Now this is like your Linux box, right? So you can say ls, you can say mkdir, you can say cd, whatever it is. But what I'm interested in is, I want to start my Hadoop services. Start all.sh. Okay, this is one shortcut to start all the Hadoop services, like your daemons, right? We talked about name node, we talked about secondary name node, right? The data node, right? The node manager, the resource manager. So remind me later. Yeah. So all those things would be starting now. Again, you should be able to see all of them up and running. All right. Now, once that is done, what you need to do is just say JPS, Java processes. Okay. And if you see name node, secondary name node, node manager, data node, and resource managers are up and running. Okay. Now, I hope you are getting clarity what I was talking about in our previous class. Is not it? So I was saying that we will have name node, we will have secondary name node. They will be installed in different machines, right? This is a single node installation. Here everything is on a same machine. Okay, and this is what you don't do in production. Okay, but we need to simulate this in our local laptop, right? So that at least we can start working on Hadoop. Is not it? In the real time, this name node will be in one machine. Your secondary name node will be in another machine. Your node manager would be in another machine, and your node manager and data node would be on all the slave computers. Your resource manager would be on another machine, right? That is how it will look in your real time. It's not it, but that's okay. This is a single node, like installation of Hadoop, right? And when we do this, we have everything in our single machine, right? So here we have our Hadoop up and running. Now we can always do Hadoop fs-put. I was talking about those commands, right? Hadoop fs-get. We can do a lot of stuff to interact with that Hadoop file system. For example, Hadoop fs-ls give me the list of all the directories present in the Hadoop file system, right? And it is saying you have all this data in your Hadoop, right? This is what we have, and we will be exploring more in our Hadoop commands section. We have a dedicated section where I'll be teaching you all the commands, whatever we will use to interact with this Hadoop file system, right? So right now when I say Hadoop fs-ls, that means I'm interacting with Hadoop file system, SDFS. It's not it. Similarly, I can say Hadoop fs-put, and I can choose a file from my local. Now my local means from my Ubuntu, and push it into my SDFS, right? Similarly, I can say get, right? And I can say, hey, from my SDFS, give me some data back to my local, right? So this is how your Hadoop system will work.